Hello there, welcome to Pen Positive Outclass. This is Vinod Narayan. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm going to take you through just one question. So, for a few weeks, I was not creating any videos or podcasts because I was not in town. I'd gone to India. Every time I got to India and I come back, it is a time for reset. I kind of start looking at my priorities, life, past, future, because India is where I started. So when you go back to India, it's like you're going back to who you were 30 years, 40 years back, and then in the flight when you come back to the US, you go through that entire 30 years, 40 years, and it's a good time to make some decisions in life, start thinking about stuffs that you've not thought about before. So as part of it, I said, how do I want to take this video channel and this podcast forward? I said, let me start with writing. So for those who want to listen to this particular video in podcast, go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcast. You can listen to it as Pen Positive Outclass Podcast. If you want to read what I'm going to say, you can go to Medium, and my username is Pen Positive, and I have first written what I want to say, and then this is just a version of me talking to you about that. You can also go to penpositive.com where you can read that in my blog as well. So the question today is, what motivated you to choose your current career? So my current career is, I'm an agile coach. I've been working in that field for about 10 years. I don't think it was anything that motivated me to my current career. It was more priorities, I would say necessity. It was a bit of realization and also interest. When I was 16 or 17 years old, during my 11th and 12th, I really did not have any clue what I wanted to do. I did not know what interested me that could give me a career. There were a lot of things that interested me. I liked movies, I liked talking to people, I liked playing around. Nothing serious. I did not think that any of my interests could in any way give me a career. But I was good at my studies. So if you did not know what to do and you were good at your studies, then engineering was the area that you choose. Not specifically any engineering, but just do engineering and then figure out what it is. So I joined engineering. And in 1993, I graduated along with a lot of people, many of them who were etched out to be good engineers. And I realized I was not one. Then I got into a sales career. I continued doing sales for various companies. I did entrepreneurship, and I failed. And during that period, somewhere after about 20 years being in that profession of sales and entrepreneurship and doing some client management, I had kind of started doing some project management also. And as I was close to 40 years, about 39 years old, my priorities started changing. Looking back, I realized that the path that I was going, I, I was not getting anywhere. Or I had lost interest in doing a lot of things. I figured out that I was not good as an entrepreneur. I realized that I had lost my flair for sales, though I was doing it good when I started my career. And I did not want to do all those things. And when I look forward, I wanted to remain employable. That was my choice. So my priorities had completely changed. And at that time, there were two skills that kind of I had. One was I had got into content management, and so I had some specific skills of understanding the content management space. And I said that is one skill. And then I had the skill of I didn't have any agile skills. I had some project management, client management kind of skills. And luckily, I was able to get a job that brought content management, a bit of project management, and all those things together. And I jumped and took that. I left business, and I was a lot of debt at that time, and I took that. Even then, I didn't have any idea. This was 2010, 2011 probably, and I didn't have any idea what to do. But then I continued content management. I thought, okay, right, should I focus on content management or should I focus on project management? And that's when I got an offer to work with a company where they were moving towards agile. So I'd heard about agile, but I'd not really known about it. I was never a big fan of becoming a people manager. Trying my luck in business, having people work for me, trying to manage them. Though I had done it, I did not really enjoy doing it. So I decided that my goal in life is to be a well performing individual contributor who who could basically remain employed till I wanted to retire. So that was a very simple. And that's when I looked at Agile and I found out that Agile space kind of provided that you are an individual contributor, especially the role of Scrum Master or the role of working with the team, being an Agile coach. So this was a thing that you could be an independent contributor, but at the same time, you don't have to do people management. Yes, there are some risks towards it because one of the major risks when you become an Agile professional is that there are many organizations which would talk about agile, but they would not really find the value in a lot of things being done by agile professionals. And there is, if you go to the industry, there's so many people who would be talking against agile professionals as well. So there's always that turbulence is always there in the industry. But even then, I thought that this could be an area that I could explore. So even now, the work that I do always has an element of program management into it. There's an element of strategy into it. There's an element of training and coaching into it. So it's a mix of all these things. So at any point of time, that puts my skills in a pretty broader sense that it might help me to be employable. But to be honest, that has always not been the case. Many times when you apply for a job, you figure out that you are the right person. You know that you are the right person for the job, but the person who's interviewing doesn't realize that. When markets are bad, markets are bad. But anyway, at the same time, I also realized that agile as a philosophy, as a methodology, had moved outside the software environment, and we are talking about business. For example, if it is scaled agile, you're talking about business agility. Many times the word agile itself is not being used when you try to transform organizations. There was so much thought experiments and so much learning that is happening in that space that would allow you to continuously learn. So I said, this is a good place. And I had also started building this interest to be able to influence people, be able to train and coach people, and continuously learn. So bringing all these things together, I thought agile space would be the right thing to do. So it was priorities, which was that I had to be employable till I retire, and it was also realization that I was not good at some of the things that I did for a good 20 years of my life. In hindsight, I feel that 20 years is too much of time, but then you have a realization. You can't force realization at an earlier stage. Some people just don't realize things unless they're beaten by life for quite a long time. But anyway, at least 10 years back, when I look at my future, it was not very clear to me. But now, when I look the next 15 years of my life, I have a clear idea what I want to do, what space I want to be. And also at the same time, how do I use the skills and the knowledge that I learn to not just be doing things or providing value within my organization, but also outside. So my whole idea of having this podcast, having this video, writing, all those things is a part of exploring me outside my professional self. But at the same time, with my feet grounded very clearly on what I'm good at professionally. There was another interesting thing I realized about Agile. That was this concept of value and flow. And I found that the concept of value and flow is so important, not just in software or in business, but in society, in personal life, in professional life, and how you look at your perspectives about the world and about life. I think flow and value creates a gives a lot of purpose for us. When I create this video, the question that could probably come to my mind is this adding value? Is this adding value to me? Is this adding value to the people who listen to it? The next thing is, am I in a flow when I do it? Am I doing it because I don't like it? Am I doing it? Is the topic interesting to me? Am I honest? Am I being in the flow? When I start the video and I want to do it for 5 minutes, do I get stuck after 5 minutes? Do I continue talking? I mean, you don't want to be in flow for quite a long time that it bores people. But even then, I think value and flow are so important. And looking at professional life, personal life, society, everything from the lens of value and flow, I think that's what today motivates me to remain in the career that I am in. If you've not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe. You can listen to the podcast, Pen Positive Outclass, on all major podcasting platforms. And every episode that I do over here, there would be if you're interested in reading, go ahead, go to Medium, Pen Positive. I'll put a link to that on the show notes. And you can also read it on penpositive.com. I'll put a link to that as well. So I'll see you all next time when I have something to write, something to say, something to produce as a content. You guys take care. Thank you.